5. And let me go over here.
Do we need to do a roll call?
Oh, yeah, we need to do a roll call. That's a good call while we wait to find my agenda. Erin.
Here.
Laura.
Here.
Sarah.
Here.
Tom.
Here.
Jeffrey.
Here.
And Sean is here. I still don't have my agenda. Hold on, sorry. I've got a lot of tabs open here. There we go. All right, so our agenda for this evening, we will start with public comment for anything that is not on the agenda this evening. We'll move into our focus on excellence, our consent agenda. We'll go through reports, and then in the new business section, we've got our CPAC end of the year update, our student services end of year update, and then we'll discuss the superintendent formative review process. In old business, we'll have a discussion about the membership for the facility naming advisory committee and a potential vote there. And then a follow-up on school choice and next steps there. At the end of all that business, we'll move into executive session. This is to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining with all of our bargaining units. And we will move into executive session not to return this evening. So we'll take that motion when we get there. So with that, let's start with public comment. I can't see in the room there, but if there's anybody from the public who would like to speak to anything not on the agenda, please approach the podium, name and address, and you've got 3 minutes.
We do have people here, but nobody is raising their hand.
All right, fair enough. Then with that, we'll move to our focus on excellence, and Dr. Malachewski, I'll take it to you.
Great. Good evening, Ready Community. We're really excited tonight to be able to congratulate what is an extremely high bar for academic excellence, and that's representing the best of the best, our valedictorian and our salutatorian. Congratulations. Absolutely tremendous recognition. So tonight we'll start by recognizing Amelia Borowski, who is our valedictorian. Amelia, I don't know if you mind coming up front just so, don't worry, no speech or anything. You don't mind sitting next to us. We have a few just quick remarks that were shared by her counseling team. Obviously, everyone knows represents the highest grade point average of the senior class. Amelia is involved in a million things and impacts our school community in so many different ways, and wanted our larger Reading community to be able to hear about some of the things that she's involved in, some of her impacts. So this is from the counseling team. Amelia is an exceptionally strong writer and critical thinker. Whether mentoring young dancers at her studio or helping new mock trial members build their confidence, she leads with empathy and patience. When the faculty advisor for our literary magazine had to take a leave of absence, Amelia and a classmate took it upon themselves to keep the publication alive. She's also served as lead defense attorney on the school's mock trial team, proving invaluable for her preparation and poise. Her accomplishments as a writer are extraordinary for a high school student. Amelia placed first in Massachusetts and 8th nationally in the Voice of Democracy essay contest. Her fiction has been recognized with a Letter Review Prize for short fiction and an honorable mention from the Scholastic Arts and Writing Awards. She has also been accepted to the selective summer programs, including the Kenyon Review Online Writing Intensive and the Sun House Mentorship Program, both of which further refined her craft and affirmed her potential as a professional writer. She also interned with the Harvard Crimson, where she contributed research, photo essays, and interviews for published articles. She also works part-time for the Daily Times Chronicle, writing senior profiles. In addition, she's passionate about languages, having studied French for 6 years, earning a school award for her achievement, and recently adding Russian to her studies. Amelia will attend Georgetown University in the fall with hopes of studying journalism, law, and international relations. Huge congratulations. And the second student, unfortunately, is not able to make it tonight. That's our salutatorian. That's Indigo Boyko. Indigo's not feeling well tonight, and we know will be ready for tomorrow night for graduation. So also some remarks from the counseling team about Indigo. Indigo was awarded the school's Core Value Award in the area of scholarship, as well as the Yale Book Award, a testament to their academic dedication and depth of engagement in their studies. They've been an avid contributor to both the robotics, the business sub-team president, and mock trial teams throughout high school, enjoying the opportunities for creative expression through 2 very different avenues. Indigo spends much of their free time writing fiction as it expanded their language studies at the highest levels in both English and Spanish, taking on extra opportunities to learn in conversation, composition, and cultural exploration. They're also independently studying Italian and have completed summer writing seminars and self-studied math courses over summers. In the fall, Indigo will attend Amherst College, where they plan to pursue a degree that combines U.S. history, cultural studies, creative writing, and mathematics. They light up when talking about a potential career in museums or preservation and feel strongly about using their education to further the democratization of knowledge and ideas. Huge congratulations to Indigo. I think when you hear the grade point average and see number 1 and 2 in the class, it's obviously incredibly impressive, and I think represents the absolute best of academic achievement. Yet also when you hear all of the ways that they've been involved, both in our RPS community and also our larger Reading community, it's just absolutely incredible. So on behalf of our entire district, we'd just like to congratulate you for setting the highest bar of academic excellence. Would also like to congratulate you for all of the ways that you've made a lasting impact here in our community. So we can't wait to see you tomorrow night on stage and sharing your remarks and words of wisdom with your class.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations indeed. She doesn't get away that easily, right?
Amelia, there may be others who want to say a few words too. So.
No, it's not that we want to say a few words other than, one of our traditions is our focus on excellence. People come and take a picture with us. So you get to take a picture with the 4 of us plus the administration, and on top we'll have as we go from there. So we'll meet you out down front.
Oh, it's okay.
Just watch the water bottle and phone.
I saw the heart. I saw the little heart thing going on. One day I don't wear a suit too, so.
Did you fall the other way? Me too.
All right. Let's move into reports. Can't see which students are still there. Sachi and Thea, you're still there.
It's hard to see on the Zoom camera, it's not Sean being
exclusive. Everybody's popping back. Obviously, we just had the student advisory council meeting. Any separate report this evening?
Yes, actually, we have a pretty lengthy one.
Wait, do you want to go last? Because you're.
Oh, you want me to go last? Fine. Go ahead,
You
Alex.
close
Go
us out.
ahead.
All right, Sachi's gonna close us out this evening. Thea and I just had a few things to say. First, to address Dr. Milichewski, because this may be our last meeting with you as students. We all wanted to extend to you the biggest possible thank you for everything you've done for the entire RPS school community over the past 5 years. And we say that, again, on behalf of all Reading students. I know you came in while I was just starting out middle school, and it's been such a noticeable impact that you've had, an incredible positive change over the last half a decade that you've been here. So on behalf of all of the Reading Rockets, we wanted to thank you. We're very sad to see you go. That's common amongst all of us, but thank you for a great 5 years, and we wish you the best of luck going forward. And then second, to seniors leaving us, I know Jason's gone, but to Sachi and Jason, it's been an absolute honor and a pleasure, and I know I speak on behalf of not just this committee, but on the students to work with you and have you represent us. I've been doing this with them for the past 2 years as well, so it's been an honor and a pleasure to have sat on this committee with you guys, and we know that you're going to go do great things after Reading, so.
Thanks.
That is all from me. Thea, you have a few things to say, and then we'll close out with Sachi. No, just your ad-lib.
An anecdote.
Well,
Putting Thea on the spot, huh? She's like, what?
it's okay, I'm in the improv.
There you go.
Well, I appreciate being on this committee because I care about my school, and I care about how I've been a student at RPS, since kindergarten and all that good stuff. So I care about this town, I care about the kids that I've grown up with. I know tomorrow, it'll be emotional seeing a lot of them go. These are people that I've grown up with, like I just said. But Yeah, thank you all very much. I'll
Okay.
see you next year with Alex.
Okay, now I'll do the reports. I do want to say thank you to the school committee. I received the school committee award at senior awards night, which included some Wellesley merch, which is where I'm going to school, which is great because I owned no Wellesley merch prior to that, and some really great books that I'm very excited to read. So I do want to say thank you. I want to add to Alex, Dr. Milczewski, you've been amazing. I still remember in my 7th grade or 8th grade Spanish class, my Spanish teacher talking so good about you and how you speak amazing Spanish, and you walking in there and me having no idea who you are, but then hearing you speak Spanish to the class and really bond with the students was amazing. I know every time I see you, I'm inspired to be a better person and be more of a leader like you are, so I will be sad to see you go, but I'm also really happy and excited for you and the amazing opportunities that are to come. Okay, for upcoming events, we have Future Freshman Night, number 2, is taking place on Monday, June 1st at 6 p.m. in the RMHS Fieldhouse. This is the showcase of all clubs, activities, and athletics for incoming freshmen and their parents to preview. Everybody is welcome, so even if you aren't a freshman and you want to go discover new clubs, it's great. Underclassmen award ceremony is taking place next Wednesday at 7 p.m. in the PAC. All awardees and their families were recently extended an invitation. All are also welcome to this event. Incoming freshman fly-up day is June 8th. During the school day, the rising freshmen will come to the high school to spend some time with our staff, class advisors, Dr. Flynn, and the Rocket Ambassadors as their first foray into learning about the next school year. Final exams for 9th grade through 11th begin on June 15th, and Science MCAS is taking place for freshmen next week on June 2nd to 3rd. In terms of news, this week we're celebrating our amazing seniors who will graduate tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Seniors also enjoyed class day today. I can confirm it was really fun. The senior barbecue, yearbook signing, and their final clap out. Earlier this week, they also had the senior party and sunrise and prom last Thursday, which I know Alex actually came.
Good prom.
Yeah, it was a great prom. RMHS will dearly miss the class of 2026 and wishes them all the best in their future endeavors. Additionally, the Reading Cooperative Bank was thrilled to award the Empowered Ed a check from Massachusetts Bankers Association, totally funding a financial literacy course offered to 25 of our senior students. This was a 14-week semester pilot offered at RMHS in partnership with Endicott College. Our gratitude to Mass Bankers for enabling us to offer our students this college-level course, instilling skills such as budgeting, saving, credit, investing, and building wealth. This course will continue to run as a dual enrollment course next year as well. All spring athletic teams or specific athletes in track qualified for the postseason tournament, which began this week. The upcoming tournament schedule is as follows. So Thursday, May 28th at 3 p.m., there's track at Merrimack College, and then 6 p.m. boys lacrosse stadium field. On Saturday, May 30th, it's 11 a.m. softball home versus Mansfield at Driscoll Field. And then 11:30 girls lacrosse versus Minnechaug. And then 2:30 track at Merrimack College. And then Monday, June 1st at 4:30 p.m. is boys tennis at Hingham. And then girls tennis isn't on here, but we did make it to the second round of states. We had our match yesterday. We won 4-1. We will most likely be playing Milton some point next week. They are the 11th seed and we are the 12th, so it should be a close match, which, okay, hopefully it goes well. But yeah, so all I want to say is thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of the school committee. These last, I think, 3 years I've been here now. It's been one of the most enjoyable experiences. Also going and attending RMHS, I've learned so much. And so much that I will carry with me, definitely throughout the rest of my life. Yeah, I just want to say thank you for, yeah, everything. Cool.
That's all for me.
John, anything?
No, just, thank you to all of you for your work this year, and Sashi, especially you for, your work leading up to graduation here. So we really appreciated hearing your voice. Having you be a voice for the students, and you do it passionately and with humor, and we really appreciated it. So thank you for everything you've done, and we're looking forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Thank you.
And Jason as well, even though I know he's not there.
Jason's here in spirit.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so we'll keep moving on reports here. Dr. Milczewski, I don't know if it's just you or anybody from the team as well.
Great. Just like to first echo the excitement and enthusiasm about tomorrow night, class of 2026. Can't wait to recognize, celebrate you. I share that on behalf of all the educators across our community. There are so many people who I know are a part of your journey, pre-K through 12, who are just so excited to see you cross the stage tomorrow night. So congratulations. Sachi, I know the community knows going to Wellesley College, and then also Jason, who's not up here, going to UCLA next year too. So incredibly proud of all of our students and wishing Sachi and Jason the absolute best. So hope it's going to be a wonderful, sunny, hopefully, evening tomorrow to celebrate. So, so just two personnel updates. First, I'd like to share a really piece of exciting news that we today announced to both staff and RISE community members that we have officially hired Michelle Ophelis as our next RISE principal/director. This may sound like a familiar name. I see some smiles. Maybe this is really exciting for the community. I'll share a little bit about Michelle. For those of you who don't know Michelle, Michelle currently serves as the assistant principal of student service at the Dolbear Elementary in Wakefield, where she plays a central role in the ILT and the multi-tiered system of support leadership team. She facilitates special education and 504 meetings, coordinates specialized programmings for many students with a variety of needs, and leads data team meetings to target interventions. She also supervises, evaluates staff, supports PD, partners closely with families, sort of everything that falls under the bucket and the umbrella of school-based leadership. She's also, as the community may know, spent 13 years prior to her time in Wakefield and Reading as both a classroom teacher and as an assistant principal prior to the full-time assistant principal roles, giving her a deep understanding of our students, our families, and our communities. And those who have worked with Michelle, any who are on this call and in the audience, share that she's collaborative, student-focused, and deeply committed to inclusive practices and early learners. Really excited to add her to our team. I'd like to thank members of the RISE Screening Committee who have been with us over the last several months in a process that, at times was frustrating and feels like we weren't moving forward and didn't always land in the way that we thought it would, and to end up with the candidate we are all really excited about is also just a testament to those who are on the committee. So I'd just like to thank Lindsay Fulton, Janelle Booton, Tayana Pereira, Linda Boyages, Maureen Diligenitis, Denise Santoro, Kit Leonard, Megan Teed, Leah Mazza, Dilly Wilson, Melissa Forbes, Jackie Pelusi, and Allison Wright. A great team of staff, family, community members who I think gave a really great perspective on just sort of what was needed in the role. So Michelle will officially start on July 1st. We are also coordinating time for her to be able to meet with the RISE staff, to be able to meet with also many of our RISE families. So more on that to come over the next few weeks. But just tonight, again, wanted to share our excitement and enthusiasm about Michelle joining our district. Very excited about her leadership and also very excited about the future of RISE under her leadership. Second, would like to just briefly share that it was announced earlier that Dr. Steve Burnham will be transitioning to become the principal of Stoneham High School, which, as you may know, prior to his time as an elementary principal, was a secondary educator and leader throughout his career. I'll share more about sort of thanking Steve and recognizing his impact in our district in our June 4th meeting, where I'll also speak about just sort of the process for what it looks like to make sure that we have the right next leader at Birch. So more on that to come, but just want to make sure the committee and the community knew that will be discussed at the June 4th meeting. We thank Steve. We'll thank him more next week, and also are really excited to make sure in the next in the collaborative process that we have the right leader in place to move the school forward. That's it. And my team.
And I just have two quick updates that I'd like to give you. I did just wanted to acknowledge the new regulations on seclusion as they have been in the news a lot lately. I did want to inform the committee and the community that thanks to Kelly Decato, we are absolutely set now with the regulations, and we are already set to move forward. I think Kelly Decato, who's our program coordinator, could cite the regulations better than the people that wrote them at this point. We have done training with attorneys to make sure we are set to go on August 17th when they go into effect. We've also done training with the building leaders that are directly affected by the new seclusion regulations, the team chairs, and the school psychologists. And I just also wanted to shout out Kelly DeCato and our facilities department because they have been through every room, looked at everything, and actually facilities has already updated all of the spaces. So we are good to go. And it was an amazing team effort. And if people have any other questions or concerns, we will be doing more trainings and notifying families. I just wanted to let everybody know we are definitely on that. The other update I have is from the Children's Cabinet in collaboration with the Coalition. We have two amazing students, Amelia Souza and Jackson Foreman, who are part of the Children's Cabinet. They were actually awarded a mini grant through the Coalition, and to support the work we're doing on transition planning, they actually recruited 15 other students to mentor middle school students that are going to be rising to the high school. And thanks to Tanya, who our public safety clinician, she developed and facilitated a two-part mentoring training for all 17 students, which included building rapport, active listening, setting appropriate boundaries, and knowing when and how to involve a trusted adult. So Amelia and Jackson will be meeting with the middle school staff to launch this pilot mentoring program for next year. So we are super grateful to them and the Coalition for partnering with us and Children's Cabinet for continuing to sponsor that work. Now we're done, Sean.
Excellent. Tom helpfully flagged that I skipped the consent agenda. So before we do liaison reports, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Before you do that?
I have to
exactly.
recuse myself from the consent agenda this evening.
Friendly amendment, Sean, can we motion to approve all but consent agenda item number 3? So Laura can vote on all the other 7, and then we can vote on number 3 separately?
We can do that. So I'll make the motion to approve items 1, 2, and 4 through 8 in the consent agenda. How about that?
Perfect. Second.
Seconded by Tom. Any discussion on those?
Yeah, I do have one comment, Sean. As I was reading through the minutes, I noticed that Laura was listed as Mrs. Durgovich, and I recall from her campaign that she does have a PhD. And so I would just ask, unless there's a reason she doesn't want to, that those minutes be amended to list her as Dr. Durgovich.
That would be lovely.
That is an excellent catch. Thank you, Jeffrey. Did we call you Mr. Corum?
No, you got Dr. Corum for me. That was, longstanding, back from the previous superintendent, that it kind of got in there a long time ago. So.
Yeah, okay, that's a great catch. We will certainly address that. Okay, so then, given the minutes as amended, any further discussion on items 1, 2, and 4 through 8? Okay, we'll move to the vote. Aaron?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Jeffrey?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
And Sean, yes. Okay, so now I'll make a motion to approve item 3 on the consent agenda, the Parker 8th grade field trip donation. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Seconded by Jeffrey. Laura, I know you want to recuse on this one. Any discussion on number 3?
Thank you, Laura.
Okay, then I'll move to the vote. Aaron?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Jeffrey?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
And Sean, yes. Okay, thanks everyone. All right, let's move to liaison reports. Aaron, I know you're going to drop momentarily. I'll go to you first if you've got anything to share this evening.
Yeah, just quick, I attended the Wellness Committee meeting this morning. Awesome stuff going on with health and wellness. But I wanted to flag that the official district wellness policy has to be reviewed every 3 years. They have it ready for us. It's my personal opinion, it does not need to go through the subcommittee. I think it's one that we could probably get through in one meeting, but just wanted to flag it. They have until August 31st, but and then I apologize, I'm ducking out to attend the 7th grade band concert at Parker. So I will rejoin you if you are still meeting when that is done.
Thanks, Sarah. Let's go to Sarah.
No report.
Jeffrey?
No report.
Laura?
I will just mention on behalf of the Recreation Committee that the Birch 2
Birch Meadow Phase 2 project is officially complete, and they have opened the playground and the courts over there. So everybody go and enjoy them.
Much to the very vocal satisfaction of some neighbors over there, for sure. Tom?
No report. I'll defer Finance Committee to you since I was out of town.
Yeah, just two reports on my end. One, the audit committee met last Monday in concert with the RMLD board and did the annual review of the RMLD audit. It was a sort of a clean audit. It's a sort of non-event of an event as it is most years. So that audit was accepted, or the audit report, I should say, was accepted. And then the FinCom report is I attended the financial forum last week, hosted by FinCom, attended by this, I think 4 of the 5 members of the select board as well. You know, the order of the day was discussing sort of the very imminent looming need for an override. And it looks like we're on a track to trying to get that on the ballot for this November. Sharon Engstrom went through, you know, what she coined kind of a structural deficit, which essentially was looking at the accommodated costs. So these are sort of our non-controllable costs, if you will, and looking at how much they have outpaced the growth that a 2.5%, property tax levy increase allows for. And the gist of it is that from FY20 to FY25, just comparing the actuals over that 5-year period, the growth in just the accommodated costs has outstripped what 2.5% gets you by about $6 million. So it essentially creates a $6 million hole in the budget before you even start looking at, you know, most of the things that are sort of more directly controllable, and puts substantially more pressure on the use of free cash to support a level services budget, which most years requires something like a 3 or a 3.25% increase in the actual operating budget. So what it looks like, the energy in that room was sort of, circling around was the idea of putting a tiered override, which is, comes in the form of 3 separate ballot questions on the ballot later this year. Probably somewhere in the range of 7 to 8 million on the low end and maybe as high as 14 million on the high end. And the difference essentially between those endpoints would be how long you would project it to last for. The 7 to $8 million range would get us by for a few years, and the $14 million range might, get you closer, more like to the end of the decade. Now the town, of course, will continue to do the same kinds of things we did after the 2018 override to try and extend the lifespan of any override. But with Sharon's very sort of conservative budgeting approach, that's kind of where it would leave us, is, looking at somewhere between a 3 and maybe 5 to 6 year, 3 and a 5 to 6 year window that an override would allow us to maintain a level services budget. She also went through, and you all can review the content, but she went through some of the details around the impact on the average home's tax bill and things like that. It was on the order, I think, I've got it here. I won't speak out of my rear end here. It was on the order of $850 on the average tax bill at 7.5 million to almost $1,600 at 14 million. That's against an average tax bill in FY26 of about 10,148. So that's before the Killam and recal debt overrides hit. So, you roll that all in, and we're looking at several $1,000s of increase in the average tax bills if a large override were to also pass later this year. So, it's going to be a busy and probably difficult few months for the town and the FinCom and members of this committee to help get organized around this and understand the impacts of overrides passing at various levels or not. Just to give you, kind of a sense of what it means if the override were to fail. If we were to use $6.475 million of free cash in FY28, which is sort of her baseline projection, the operating budget would go up by about 0.9%. And again, we in most years need somewhere between about 3.25% to have a level services budget. So even at that use of free cash in FY28, we're looking at having to find 2+% in the budget to balance. If we use a smaller amount of free cash, which would probably be on the table because we're starting to get to the point where the use of free cash is bringing us below the FinCom's guidelines and the sort of the levels we like to stay at for bond rating purposes. If we used more like $3 million in free cash, we could be looking at a negative 3% operating budget impact. So it's a substantial set of challenges facing us, and again, all signs are pointing to the select board looking to move forward with an override later this year, and there'll be a lot of work to do to educate the community on the implications of it not passing, and let folks decide what they want to do. So that is my very Debbie Downer update from FinCom, but that's what I've got this evening. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I sat in on that meeting on Zoom as well, and I thought there was a lot of useful discussion about strategies that they learned between the failed override and the one that passed more recently, and discussion about what Sean was saying about educating the community, and I think it would probably be in our best interest as well to start strategically planning what kind of information will need to be shared with the community to encourage them to support the override sooner rather than later. So I don't know if we want to get that on a upcoming agenda, but I think it's worth talking about sooner rather than later.
Yeah, agreed. All right, so with that, let's move to new business. We're going to start our new business with the CPAC end of year update. I assume we've got some folks from the CPAC board there in the audience.
We do. You're all welcome to stay, as you know, or you're welcome to leave. I saw that.
We might have one request. Could we take a picture with the two of us?
Absolutely. Let's do the quick picture. All right, so Sean, we're going to interject. We have a request for a picture from our students.
You want your phone or mine?
Here, well, I'll use my house.
We'll have you up in the back. I'll put a spotlight on you, so you're the only one up in there.
I don't have a phone. I assume if you want it on your phone. Yeah, probably is. I don't think you want it on my phone.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
There's Sean's big head. Sean's big head.
Definitely you guys.
It's okay, Alex doesn't have Instagram, so you'll be posting it.
I'll send them to you. You can post them.
It's trusting.
They look great. They look great.
How's Sean look in the back?
Amazing. The best head on the screen I've ever seen.
His hair looks phenomenal.
Yeah, there you go. Deep cut.
Sorry, I had to do
Her
that.
last
I did
meeting,
that one
Sean.
before I got here.
Last thing you're gonna say here. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
That could be
Have a great, I don't know.
We'll see you
next
tomorrow.
billion years. Oh yeah, you will see me tomorrow, to be honest.
So our CPAC board members want to come join us? Come on up here, yeah. We don't bite. Last I checked, at least.
Not tonight, although I haven't had dinner, so we'll see.
Hello. Hello. All right. So we've had the presentation sent.
Did you? Did we get the presentation?
Sorry, I
Yeah.
emailed it. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
No, that's their presentation.
Oh, no.
Did Olivia, Sean, did Olivia send you the presentation?
Let me see.
I'm gonna have to make
Or
this
I
up as I
can
go along then.
email.
No, because we don't need to see ourselves.
If you have it, you can also share it with me or with Jen. and
Or
we
with
can
me.
send it to her.
I can share, if you send it to me real quick, then I can
Even
drop it
easier.
in
Just
there.
gotta turn on my phone.
Yeah, minor details.
Anyways, I'll just,
Yeah, I exchanged emails with Bill yesterday, but I don't see that the presentation came through after that.
it was kind of a last minute edit situation today.
That's okay, no problem whatsoever. We can work
We
it
don't know what
through.
that's like at all.
Like 5 board members and we're all just trying to be like, I can do 5 minutes here and you can do 5 minutes here and let's just make sure. Yeah. I'm, in
Yes,
case
go ahead, you
everyone-
can start
yeah.
talking, we can work
Yeah.
through it.
In case people don't know, I'm Trisha Kiley. I've been on CPAC for about 2 years. I have 2 kids. One's in 6th, one's in 5th. One's at Birch Coolidge. And so it's been a great experience. I also taught in Stoneham for 8 years. So this has been a nice way for me to still kind of stay connected without becoming a teacher again. But we do have about 5 members now. We were the 2 lucky ones that could make it tonight.
That works.
Yes. But we've been doing a lot of good stuff. It's been it's interesting. I've been, in Reading for 14 years, and I see the CPAC board change, kind of ebbs and flows, and I feel like we have a good flow going right now with our board members. So if we can get you the presentation, we can show you. But
That's okay.
off the top of my head, oh, there you go. Okay, I'm gonna get off the top of my head, what can I remember? We have a bowling event tomorrow.
Bowling.
We
I think I
have-
saw that posted, yes?
Yes, we have pre-K and elementary families coming to Hings Bowling to kind of try to connect some families together. We did a middle school, high school one, which was fun. Just to get kids and families together from, different schools, but like the same ages. And it was a good time. Everyone likes a good bowling time, so.
True.
Didn't get as many kids as we wanted to, but we tried to get them on that, few half days at the middle school and high school lineup. But it was fun, and hoping to do more stuff like that, where we can get some age group kids
The
together.
social side of it is
Yeah.
just as important, right?
Yeah, and get families together and kind of get them talking more, because special education parents are a little isolated sometimes. We get locked in our world and our chaos, so it's nice to get out. But yeah, it was fun. I'm looking forward to tomorrow.
You sent it, who did you send it to?
So I sent it to Dr. Studs and Dr. Miller.
Perfect.
Okay,
I'll forward it to you.
that works.
It's just a link, so
Is it a link to a Google Doc?
I think so.
Yeah, Google.
Does that not work?
It may work, or we may have to send a request for you to approve. So you might see another email come back.
I didn't turn it off.
Unless, Jen, you want to join the Zoom, in which case you could share from there too.
If not, we could just talk through it.
Tom, I'm forwarding it.
Yeah, I just got it.
Okay, let's see. All right, I got it.
Got it? I think you should
Okay.
be able to open it too.
Yep, I opened it.
Everyone got it.
All right. Teamwork.
I was like, what else can I remember from the slides I looked at today?
All right, here we go.
Thank you.
All right.
So, yep. What we have on here is this our mission statement, year in review, annual survey results, outreach efforts, workshops, and next academic year. And then if you guys have any questions for us. So this is the same mission statement I'll let you guys read it. I'm not going to read all the words in it, but it's our general mission statement. So year in review, we have 5 members this year, which is a big number for us. It's helpful for us to have that many members because, as you can see, there's sometimes we can all come, sometimes it's one of us that's available. We all have kids and we're all just getting by. So it's been really exciting to work with some new people. We have some great, we had the meet and greets with the team chairs, which was awesome. And then we're working really closely with Jen and Allison. I don't know how much, we love our monthly meetings. And the occasional just meeting for fun. But yeah, it's been a great partnership working with Student Services. I think there's not a single thing that we haven't asked that they haven't just presented. And it's been amazing what they've pulled together for us this year. Parent workshops, always a popular one, and we're trying to build some more social opportunities, which tends to be the hardest one. Everyone wants a social opportunity, but no one can get a babysitter, or no one can get themselves together to go. But our goal is to kind of pull more parents together. I think when we're all working by ourselves, it can get overwhelming, but when you know that there's there's a big community here. So it's really nice to try to pull people out of their little bubbles and connect them more. Because if your kid has a problem, granted 5 to 10 of them also have problems. So that's a big goal of ours. And we're, trying to finding underreached groups and identifying some blind spots. So where are there holes in either parent communication, parents' education, and also even the schools kind of holes, like where they have holes in what they're doing that we can address with them, so. This is our survey results. We got 8 people to take the survey. So it's not the biggest pool. So that's always, again, a struggle, is how can we get more parents to log on? How can we get these surveys out so that we can really hear from everybody? 8 people is not a lot, and if only,
How many people was it sent to?
everyone on our mailing list was just like, I can't even explain the amount of people on our mailing list. And we post on Facebook, we post on Instagram, it goes out in the school newsletters. It's kind of hard to reach. I will say most of our CPAC stuff is this is one complaint, people have our CPAC stuff is always at the bottom of a newsletter. So by the time a parent reads stuff, they're not going to the bottom to read anything. So we're finding that to be maybe an issue, maybe not. No one reads all their emails anyways, but when we're sending out monthly emails or monthly updates, it's really hard. The best way to get people apparently is just on Instagram. Just put everything on Instagram and people will click on it versus going through their email. So it's always, we're struggling just to find that balance. How do we get parents to engage with us? So that was our results, kind of middle of the road. These are all the programs we ran. Per usual, Lynn Lyons and Sarah Ward are our top winners. Parents love those 2 speakers, so they're always on their docket for us. And Student Services is wonderful to us, so they make sure that we get them. And the budget meeting, which is blows my mind. I mean, I know people like to know what the budget is, but every year Phil comes on and people log on and they're engaged. And they also want to ask questions after, which I don't have the answers to. But he comes in with all these graphs and it's way over my head. And I'm just everyone's in it. That's one of the Sarah Ward, Lynn Lyons, and Phil are
Phil's head's gonna start getting bigger, right?
I mean, we just hit those 3. We're getting a lot of people. So it's really interesting to me, but that's where parents' concerns are, is where's the budget? They like to hear, how many paras are we losing or how are we staying? Can we get more? It's really helpful, that piece of education for parents to understand that, just because you want more people doesn't mean you can have them, or it doesn't mean you need them. And Phil does a really good job. So this is just a breakdown of kind of where people find the most help. But yeah, it's funny, the annual socials, those aren't even the biggest ones. And then, so these are how we can do some outreach. Obviously, we talk with Jen and Allison all the time. I think I love a good meeting, so I'll have a meeting with either of them all the time. They're great on email, and they're very responsive. And so that monthly meeting is great, plus anytime they want to check in with us, anytime we have a question or a problem, they're very, very responsive. And what else? Oh, they sponsor our speakers all the time and have come up with great presentations themselves using Reading Public School staff. I think the last one you guys did was wonderful and got a lot of good feedback from that. What does special education look like in Reading? What's the overall structure and how does it work? It was phenomenal. It was the right amount of information for parents to know who to go to do this and what is everyone's job. I think that's always a big question for parents, whose job is this? So that was wonderful. And again, we really can't thank them enough for all their support and responsiveness.
Good.
Yeah, good, thank you. Okay, I'm not going to realize that. Yeah, again, some of our outreach efforts, the webinars, the recordings, they go up on our website. We got a lot of people who couldn't make it to a lot of our webinars and Sarah Ward lets us record.
Yes.
Lynn Lyons does not. Phil's great, he records. Because some people did want to go back and rewatch it. That's always phenomenal for us to be able to put that on our website when people go to it. And we have our newsletters and social media and Instagram, and then that annual survey that 8 people filled out. But, we're doing the most we can, still trying to find that sweet spot where we can get parents to want to, or take the few minutes it can to let us know what we can do. Because we like to be this kind of, parents tell us, and then we can tell Allison and Jen. And sometimes it's a little easier because it's less angry sometimes. So it's nice for us to have that middle ground. Okay. And Jaslyn did It Takes a Village.
Oh, yeah.
She did beautiful, wonderful videos in some of our leaderships around town. And those are on our website, right? Mm-hmm. She made videos and she interviewed Jen and Allison and Albert. Mm-hmm. And so parents could get this video synopsis of what their jobs are and who they are in the town. That was all her. And we did CPAC Awareness Month, which was fantastic. Again, just any way we can get parents to recognize that we are a resource. Also that we don't work for Jen and Allison, because that's a misconception, is that we work for Reading Public Schools, which we don't. And so it brought awareness to hopefully some more parents. I participated in the Children's Cabinet this year, which is wonderful. I love being part of that whole community. And then we did the open house for Reading families. So that was one of our other ways that we can get, and working with some of the PTOs. I've now done break spaces for movie night at Birch. I've done the Boo Fest, what's it called? At Barrows? The Halloween party at Barrows. Yeah, Monster Mash at Barrows. We had a break space. We're also trying to get more connected with PTOs so that they can include us in some of their events, also bring us in part of their conversations. A lot of general ed parents don't understand that there are programs in schools, that what special education is doing for their gen ed kid. So any way we can help inform the community and build not just our SPED community, but build it into the entire Reading community is kind of an ultimate goal too. So PTO is going to be a big space for us to get in there.
Also fun runs and field days.
Oh yeah, field days. I was at Birch yesterday and almost died. Almost died in the sun. But luckily, like I said, I have my tent, pop it up, and provide break spaces and shade and water and fans for some of our kids who really can't tolerate that kind of environment. But it allows them to be part of field day. Most of those kids would have had to go back into the building almost instantly, and then they're just done for the day. But because we can have a break space for them, it allows our kids to stay out in the event and maybe not do kickball, but maybe they want to do parachute. And it gives them that back and forth that they can have. And that's kind of the ultimate goal, is not to keep them in the tent all day, but is to give them that opportunity in and out. So I'm like the break space lady. My tent's gonna be retired soon because it's got its use. But yeah, so.
Yeah, but we hope that all the schools have a water tent for their field days, because I remember when I first started and there was no water tent, and several students didn't have a water bottle. And so it's very brutal being in the field, and I could see them on the verge of fainting. So heat exhaustion is not a good thing.
Yeah, I think that's other point we want to make, is that we'd like all of the schools to have a designated break tent, so that no matter, I can't be everywhere, but also so that schools, these kids, every school has a unified, equal space. I know Birch we'll buy a tent tomorrow. And I'm like, yeah, but you guys can buy the tent, but I don't know what other PTO budgets are. And I wouldn't want one school to have this extravagant thing and then the other schools who don't have the same PTO budget. So it's kind of my secret mission is try to find a way to get everyone a break space. And if you're going to be in the field, let's make sure everyone has the same. And it's for everyone. Everyone needs a break. And when I tell you, bring a box of fidgets, there's not a single kid. It doesn't matter who you are. You're sitting, you're taking a fidget, and everyone benefits from that idea of just stepping away, especially field days. That heat is brutal in 90% of those fields.
Yeah. So students and staff.
Yeah, oh yeah, staff.
Need the water.
Water and shade. Shade was at oh my gosh, I had more parents and staff sitting in there because they have to be able to be out there. But just the idea of having a break space at some of these more generalized events. We want all of our kiddos to participate as much as they can, but if they get a break in school, they should get a break on field day without having to leave the entire environment. So I keep talking about tents, but that is like kind of like what our thinking is, that like if every school from, Rise all the way up even to the high school, had some designated break idea. Like even middle school, I asked Sarah Marchand to do a break space for the Welcome to Coolidge night, because some of our kids can't, again, participate fully in the Welcome to Coolidge events. It's overwhelming. There's like 1,000 parents and kids there. But she like opened the library, and my son's one of them. He came into the library, and the actual event was a lot, but we got to go to the library, we got to take our tour, we got to be part of the Welcome to Coolidge without having to like get overwhelmed and completely not go. And there were I know there were at least 3 kids who didn't go to Welcome to Coolidge because their parents didn't think it was gonna be too overwhelming for them. And breaking down that idea that there shouldn't be a single event that the school runs that a student could not go to because their parents don't know if it's gonna be, okay for them to step out for a few minutes. It should just be generalized, nope, if they get a break at school, everyone needs to step out from the cafeteria, it's too loud, making a space, and if no one uses it, fantastic. If one kid uses it, you've made one more kid part of the community in that school. So it's going along with that idea. And it's not that kids are gonna be pulled out all the time, but they have that idea that no matter where I go in school, no matter what event I go to, I'm gonna have the opportunity to do my best, take a step back, and then go back into it. So, secret mission, and hopefully we can keep working that in and keep drilling into people enough. But I think I'm gonna do Coolidge's field day. That's a new one.
Not so secret mission now.
Yeah.
It's been publicly
No.
announced.
I wrote it down, we're on it. It's no longer
I emailed Sarah
secret.
today, so I was like, I'm coming, so just tell me where to be, and I will pop up a tent. Great. Anyway, so that was that whole getting into PTOs too, because PTOs are going to be crucial for that.
Okay.
And this is some of the stuff that's our bowling, our bowling event with my 5 middle school, high school kids. And this year we had the Autumn Moon Festival table. We did the festival trees. We had and we had a craft night. That was fun. We had parents come and decorate ornaments. And the joy people have from coloring wooden ornaments, it was amazing. Just sitting and mindlessly, no kids were there. We just all were just coloring ornaments, and it was relaxed. It was fun. We also did a gingerbread house making with families. That was another popular one. Trying to do the bowling. Unified Sports will also be at. We'll have, I think, 2 tents this year because the one tent at Unified Sports is just not big enough. So we'll do a water station. We have some families that are donating water to Unified Sports this year. So that will be really helpful. Hopefully it won't be too hot. And your social with some parents, hopefully, will come. Do patio socials in the summer to try to get parents together over the summer before school starts in the popsicles and playground for kids to get together before school starts. So these are some of the workshops that we did do. The team chair meet and greet. I would love to find a way to get more parents to come to that. One argument was parents hate that it's during the school day, or work day, and I'm but you can't ask people to come back all the time at night and for 2 people who might show up. So I'm hoping that this coming fall we can get more families to come to the team chair meet and greet somehow. I don't know, bribe them with something. And then we'll do the booth at the Mid-Autumn Moon Festival. This year we did a movie night in a different key. Phenomenal movie if you guys haven't seen it. It is just an amazing movie to see. I had no idea it's that based on a book, right?
No, so you can see it on YouTube as well.
Yeah. So anyways, it's just a great movie. I highly recommend it. Sarah Ward, executive functioning, she's phenomenal. Lynn Lyons, again, blew it out of the park. People love that. Festival trees and the budget review with Phil. And then our last one was the overview of this SPED framework, which was, like I said, all the information a parent could ever need on special education in this town was in this wonderful presentation, and like half of you were on it, all of you were on it, and it was just really well done. It was like just the right amount of information given the right way, so that was great. Looking forward, we have some big plans. We're still trying to make some connections with the community, expand CPAC workshops, additional presentations on inclusion, educational workshops like Lynn Lyons and Sarah Ward we're hoping to continue. We're thinking about exploring fundraising. None of us really want to be part of a bank account, but some of the things we want to do, we end up paying like out of pocket for most of the time. Because we don't have dues or anything like that. So we don't really do any fundraising. So a lot of the events we run, we might ask, parents for, like, if you want to pay, but we don't have like a budget. Essentially, whatever Jen and Allison can get together for us. We use that money to do our presentations. But all these parent events and things like that kind of usually comes out of one of our pockets. Which is fine, but we're thinking about fundraising. Expanding our website, because that's always a work in progress. We're gonna hopefully start working with the town of Reading, the disabilities group, and continue our partnership with student services and the schools. We're seeking, continued support. We wanna make sure unified sports programming is continued, and we'd love I know Tara Hurley probably doesn't want to expand it, but like expanding it, finding some ways that we can offer more programming, either within just middle high school, but also like I know there's a ton of kids in elementary school that would benefit from some form of unified sports, whether it's just like skills and drills or something along the lines to prepare them for the middle school would be great. And one of the issues that we ran into this past summer was all the construction. That was a big problem for ESY kids, and it really hit hard for families who had to drop off kids who didn't really have the safest way to get to the school. The one at the high school, we lost the playground, which was going to happen, but then we also, construction company blocked off all of the handicap parking. And that was not appropriate for kids who have legal placards on their car, for grandparents, or for themselves. We have kids in wheelchairs and mobility issues. That was really disappointing to see that was not taking a priority when you have special education in that building. We completely got overlooked for construction projects. And at Birch, with the paving that took, it was like the longest paving job I've ever seen done, but it was like 5 weeks of summer school, and we had parents parking way too far from school, where we have children who elope, we have kids who require more staff support to get to school, and parents didn't have that support that they're supposed to have. During the school year, they get the same level of support going to ESY, particularly for pickup and drop off, where we have that Arthur B. Lord is like, it's fast. So that type of planning we would like to have, like make sure there's a consideration that if the town's going to be doing something around the schools, particularly during ESY, we brought up with the select board, and they said, well, it's the least amount of kids that are being affected, so we're going to do it and I get that, but our kids are still being affected, and they're the ones who should not have that much effect on them. And even stuff like, the crossing guard situation that was happening at Birch. My daughter almost got hit by cars on a regular basis because the police station couldn't staff the Triangle of Death, the YMCA, Birch Meadow, and we had construction there with Grove Street. There was a ton of traffic, and the police department didn't regularly post crossing guards at that particular crosswalk, and they frequently did not get there for middle school dismissal. They'd get there for Birch Meadow dismissal, but they weren't there for middle school dismissal. And we have kids in a program there, so those kids should be able to independently cross the street safely. So that was like, again, these kind of considerations get overlooked, and we want to make sure that those are not overlooked and we're either considered part of the process, or it's just a thought, because we felt very much as an afterthought during all this last summer. And it was just very disappointing to see that. But then, like, again, this year, the crossing guards, I think they finally figured it out, but it's taken an entire school year of kids just blindly trying to cross the street when you have high schoolers driving, you have Grove Street traffic. It It was a mess, and I didn't feel, parents had to jump out of their cars half the time to stop traffic. So that was, we just wanted to have that continued consideration going forward.
On that one, just real quick before we move on, do we have any known construction coming up this summer? So that's a done issue for this
Yeah.
summer, but who knows what happened next summer or the summer after, so we'll have to maintain some sort of awareness as we go forward with some of that as that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would just like really, we just really want to make sure, like, I know like it's not necessarily, there's other people who can do the construction projects, but it just felt like ESY was like an afterthought, like they didn't really care that our kids were not being able to access the building safely. And we just want to like voice that it was not appreciated by parents at all. And it was, I think, Tom and Jen, you guys like made handicap parking spots. You took your own cars out and made your own, we had to make our own handicap parking because we just have kids in wheelchairs and mobility issues that they shouldn't have to walk from like, and at that time, the modules were going in, it was kind of a disaster. But like, it was just an afterthought, and we can't do that going forward, especially for, like I said, that ESY time.
Hey, Tom, I don't, or Dr. Milczewski, to be more specific, I don't know if, is it Officer Scouten is still the safety officer, or the traffic and safety officer?
Yes.
It might be worth the conversation as we think about crossing guards. You know, it's kind of a weird job, and it's difficult to staff because the hours are not that desirable to most people. You know, early and then mid-afternoon, and, you know, you're kind of committed in 2 blocks spread out throughout the day. But I wonder if we could talk to them about sort of prioritizing when there is a shortage. You know, I think about the crossing at Franklin and Sunset Rock. Like, you know, I've been there holding signs like campaigning and stuff before, and seeing not a single student use that crosswalk. And so, you know, when you think about particularly those crossings, in the Birch Meadow complex and some of the busier ones near Killam and some others that have had challenges in the past, you know, I wonder if we could talk to the police department about prioritizing sort of the higher volume crosswalks when there are shortages.
Sean, I just wanted to say, CPAC is always so good bringing these things to our attention, and when Tricia came in, Olivia reached out immediately about the crosswalk, but I do think this is a great thing for our safety committee, which is school-based staff and town-based staff to look at, and we have a meeting coming up. So I will make sure that it's on the agenda of something we really look at to make sure for next year we have all the
Like I said, like
crosswalks
Coolidge
covered.
has like the kids in the programs there, and like sometimes by 3 o'clock, your meds are gone, like you're just trying to get out of the building.
Yeah.
And like I said, we want them to build independence, we want them to be able to safely walk from school to home, and we don't want anything to happen. And there's just, I feel that yesterday there was a car accident because someone was just beep, burp, and it was like 2 cars hit. I'm like, it's just always a nightmare, it's always very dicey. I think they've hired some new people because I've seen some people being trained, but like I said, it's a question about whether they get there for middle school. Everyone's there for 2:45, no one's there at 2:30. So also just, I think even the police officers who sub in, they're never there at 2:30. So like I said, it's just like, it's something that I just think that either they need to like be aware of, and maybe they are and they just can't get there, but it was kind of, with Grove Street being shut down and all the detours going down that street, it was a constant.
I'll make sure the
Yeah.
safety committee addresses that. There's a couple of things we want to go
And they've added
through, and
some
I'll loop back.
They've added some new signage, which is nice, if everyone reads it, but like, it's still like, those kids just sometimes like, and they all come in like very even disbursements.
Okay.
I think that's it. So, any questions?
Will all 5 of your board members be returning next year?
Yes. And I still think, I think, what is I forget what the max is, like 6? And then we have to like vote on it, or 8?
6 is your.
6 max, yeah. So it's still like a job that requires, even with the 5 of us, it is still trying to keep up with like emails, and website and everything else, and we're really trying to push it forward.
But you'll have continuity of
Yeah, the
leadership?
5 of us will still be there. No, yeah. That's it for us.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I just ask the question, I'd like to ask every year, is there, you raised some really specific concerns there, but is there anything, anything generally that the school committee or the district can be doing to support CPAC better. I think we've implemented a lot over the years, suggestions from CPAC, but if there's more that we can do, now would be the chance to raise it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're really happy with our partnership with Student Services. We really get a lot with them, and we're working hard to keep that, open communication, and with parents ask for it, like if I get 2 emails about it, I'm calling Jen Nelson, because again, I always say if like 1 or 2 people have a problem, there's more of them somewhere, and they're all sitting there angry because they don't know where to go. Our bigger problem is just making sure that our, like I said, our stuff's at the bottom of a newsletter, that's just formatting, but like just, making sure that we can continue doing the things that we do. All those workshops are really important, and any way that like we can boost our awareness and boost our programs and our meetups and stuff like that. We really want parents to come our way before like they go off the rails. And not that we have the answers. I like to remind people, a lot of parents, that we're not advocates, we're not lawyers. That seems to be one weird consensus. We're all just parents of special ed kids, and we're all just trying to have conversations and build the education for parents. I think the continued support from the school committee and supporting student services and, whatever we can do to push the education of parents further is the goal here.
Yeah, I would say a few things on that, right? I mean, I think it's awesome, and it's a continuation of the last few years, or last probably 6 years at this point, Jen, right? That the relationship with student services is so strong. But remember, you are an advisory committee to the school committee, right? So you have the path to us too.
Yeah.
And particularly through me right now, but in any time, any of you can come and talk to the rest of us as well. So it's awesome that Jen and Allison do a great job, and that's their job from a day-to-day, from an admin perspective. But you still have us as well.
Yeah,
as
no,
we
I
go through it.
appreciate that. Like I said, I think it's super easy.
Great, that's one thing. The second thing is you actually have a reserve fund with the district. You have money, $300, in an account that you should be able to access in some way, shape, or form, and/or if you're going to do fundraising, that could go into that account. So nobody has to be a bank manager,
Okay.
right? If that's your concern. And so we can potentially connect you with one of
Yeah.
your favorites, Phil, and figure out how to access, and adding money is just a donation, but how to access that money so you can get reimbursement for CPAC-related activities. So, that's what it's for, is to support you in that regard. I think there's actually 2 accounts technically. One is the CPAC fund and one is the special education something, not quite CPAC fund, that's there too. So,
Well, that'd be great, because I didn't know that.
yeah, somebody at one point gave $300 a while ago, and there's another one that's much older than that. Jeff probably might know, because he's always looking at all the funds that are there for a long time. But there are 2 accounts that are specifically dedicated for your particular needs.
That'd be great, because like I said, there's a lot of, like, I think, parent meetups and kind of building that community that, like, if we could, anything that we can get the kids involved into, but even just parents being able to get together. I think I really want to get parents out of their little hole and bubble and really start to expand that community a little bit better.
Yeah.
I guess also, as I come across different grants, like when I apply for either the movie night or whatnot, is there a contact that I should be reaching out to? Because I know that in certain grants, as an entity, you can only have 1 applicant. So if Reading Public Schools is applying for a grant, then we can't apply for it separately, from a CPAC standpoint. Who would I contact to see if Reading Public Schools is applying for a particular grant to make sure we're not competing? Because if that happens, then we step out and I just apply as a separate entity, but.
I would say at this point, contact me, and we don't have a grants manager, so we kind of have to keep internally track of what we're applying to. So if we know there's something you're interested in, we'll make sure no one else is applying, or if they are, we can let you know, but just let me know and I'll work with you.
Thank you.
She's our grant manager.
She's a good one.
Yes, best.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you both very much.
Well, thank
Thank
you.
you.
And the rest of the team as well that wasn't able to make it, so thank you all.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much.
No problem.
All right, Dr. Sykes, we will go to you for the student services and your update.
Perfect. And I have some people here. You have my PowerPoint?
I do have your PowerPoint as well, yes, as long as you haven't changed it.
I have not changed it. And I will not do jazz hands.
No longer, I apologize, I'm going to be really discreet, but
Being
yes.
on Zoom camera all day long.
I'm
so
like,
it's not gonna-
shove them in my mouth.
All right, you're good.
Great. Thank you all for staying, CPAC, to hear our update. We really appreciate it. If you go to the first slide, as we did the last time I was here, we talked about our programmatic review of executive functioning, and at that point, I had mentioned that Elise Wolf from Mass General Hospital was coming to do some executive functioning training, and she got to spend the day with us. So at this point, she's done training with general education, special education, our administration, and some of our para educators. And during one of her trainings, she actually said, EF is the coordination of multiple processes, at which point I start writing furiously, and I love a good metaphor, and I was like, that's student services. We are the coordination of multiple processes. So thanks to Jackie, who knows how to use AI better than I, and AI, we kind of came up with this idea of the brain in the Reading tree to say, this is what we do, that we are many parts of the school system, and we coordinate multiple sub-departments so that we have a cohesive, seamless, aligned educational experience for all learners. We are much more than just compliance and programs. We are really working for everyone. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about that. One of the things that we are very proud of is that we really collaborate with lots of people, including our families, our community partners, our CPAC, and we really feel like it's our job to organize and prioritize and coordinate in order to problem solve and respond flexibly to meet the needs of all of our learners and our staff and our families. And so this slide just highlights some of the partnerships at the school buildings, the other departments in RPS, and all of the community partners that we work with. The next slide is a lot, and I know that there's a tremendous amount of information on here, but I wanted to show everyone that often student services is correlated directly to special education, but it is much bigger and broader than that, and we coordinate an enormous range of systems and services and responsibilities that impact students, staff, and families every day. We are really an intersection of direct student support, district-wide systems, operational compliance, and building staff capacity, also safety and wellness, and making sure we are using inclusive instructional practices. We definitely do not do this work alone. Some of the spaces on this slide that are asterisked is work we're doing with Learning and Teaching, who we partner with all the time, and I know they're coming next week to give an update, but we really work in concert very well. Another thing I wanted to highlight that most people probably don't know is Student Services oversees the nursing department. The nursing department got a grant. The grant hired Tayana Pereira, who is our MLL family coordinator. We work on attendance very closely with the buildings and in concert with Tayana, and I just wanted to highlight the impact of the work that Tayana and the building leaders are doing on attendance. Back in the 21-22 school year, our ML students, we had a 38.9% chronic absentee rate in that population. And as of April 3rd this year, it is down to 12.5. It is amazing work that is happening, and I just wanted to cite that as an example of some of the things that we are doing, because the real strength of our department is how the systems work together and coordinated in an aligned way to make things happen. Next slide, please. So what we wanted to do for all of you tonight was to spotlight some of our key initiatives that we are working on that have a meaningful impact. And I have an amazing team here who will introduce themselves before they speak. But I also wanted to acknowledge Allison Wright, who couldn't be here tonight because her own daughter's graduating from high school. It's a very emotional moment for her, but she is an integral part of this work as well. So I'm going to turn it over to the team to highlight some of the work that's happening.
So I'm Kelly Decato. I'm the program coordinator for our Embark, Reach, and Lift programs here in Reading, and we're going to start talking about kind of inclusion and neurodiversity and the work that we've been doing in these areas. So on the next slide, we talk a little bit about our work at our student level, and we're going to move up to our staff level and then our community level. So when we think about how we are educating our students at the elementary level, this school year, we had the great pleasure of being able to take over some of the work that Understand Disabilities started for us many, many years ago when they were unable to continue to sustain their funding this school year. And so we were able to take on that work and continue that mission of educating our Reading students about disability awareness and different categories and learning profiles. And so we were able to meet as part of our SEL committee and kind of rethink how we wanted to take this new challenge on. And so we reorganized the curriculum into a way that focused on domains of functioning rather than focusing on a disability category. So previously we would teach one disability category at each grade level, and now we're teaching a different domain of functioning in a different part of the year. So our domains are focus, movement, learning, communication, how we feel, and how we sense. And so within all of those categories, we build in all the different disability categories, labels, differences that individuals may experience. And so we've really been able to allow all students in all different categories be able to be seen in all of our lessons versus having to wait until one grade level to be able to have that disability category. So it's been a really nice shift in kind of how we do this work, and it has been a huge passion of ours to be able to roll this out, and it's been really rewarding work, and it's just year one. We have so much more to grow and so much more to learn from the best way to approach this, and so we're excited to figure out what year two looks like for our students.
Next slide. I'm Ashley Dennis. I am one of the district inclusion specialists. It's awesome to be here. Thank you for having us. At the staff level, we provided training focused on building a more current and affirming understanding of neurodivergence and inclusion. We've emphasized that teaching neurodivergent students isn't a one-size-fits-all approach. Students with a given disability will have very different strengths, communication abilities, ways of learning, and support needs. And through these trainings, our staff have engaged in critical thinking around meaningful participation and promoting authentic participation in our classrooms. A part of this work included Down syndrome specific focus work with our staff at the elementary and middle school level. We held a book club using meaningful inclusion for students with Down syndrome from the Massachusetts Down Syndrome Congress. And then we also partnered with 321, which was another foundation that provided professional development for our staff. Thinking about how we take our professional development and bring it into the classrooms, into real life. That's where we come in as inclusion specialists. And I just want to speak from all three of us in saying that we feel extremely fortunate that Reading supports this work and our job embedded coaching model. And the job embedded coaching model really allows us to work alongside staff throughout this process in translating this work into the classroom. And we're able to walk through these experiences with our paraprofessionals, with our teachers, and most importantly, our students, through modeling and coaching teams in real life and problem solving in the moment. That's where we've seen the most student growth. And it's been a privilege to work through this year. And taking together the PD opportunities that our staff have had, plus job-embedded coaching, it is promoting inclusive practices to really promote all means all in Reading.
Go to the next slide. So as we kind of took this work from our student level to our staff level, we then wanted to make sure that we were engaging our families and our communities. And so this neurodiversity movement training was really spearheaded by one of our in-district SLPs, Erin Doss, who works at Barrows, and she was really an integral part in us rolling all of this work out and has been an awesome partner. And then Jackie and I did the family one without her, and I think we did okay, even though she wasn't with us.
Because she's on maternity leave,
not because we left her out.
Yeah.
She wasn't
Get a
able
big
to be with
picture of
us.
her on there. Yeah.
And so it was a really great opportunity to be able to bring this work to the community and be able to talk about the neurodiversity movement and how we are employing neurodiverse affirming strategies in our schools and how that can be applied in our home setting as well. Now, this is just the beginning of the work. We have way more work to do in terms of what this looks like in an application, as with all of our job coaching, our embedded coaching, as well as kind of just problem solving, how we support students who in the same classroom who may have conflicting needs, and what does that look like for us as a classroom. And so we're going to continue this work in the next couple of years. This is not something that we can kind of do in 1 year and complete. We also had the opportunity to host some families for some understanding each other feedback sessions to hear their input on how those new lessons were going. And we've gotten some really great feedback that families have felt that their students are seen in those lessons and that they are really starting to bring that level of inclusion that is just matter of fact. This is just kind of how we function in Reading. This is just a value that we all have, and it's really helping to level set. And we've gotten some feedback about ways we can grow in opportunities for extension work and reflection work in the home setting. So that's coming soon. Next year, our SEL team will look at how do we support families in doing that work in a more timely fashion. If we had that lesson today in class, what are you talking about tonight or this weekend? How do we support that piece? So more to come. Again, we're still in year one of this work, and so there's so much more to grow.
And then I'm going to share or highlight a little bit about where you're able to see kind of the impact of all of this work that Ashley and Kelly highlighted for us. And so some of you heard when I was here talking about executive functioning that we piloted studios from DESI's Playful Learning Institute at Joshua Eaton this spring, which was a collaboration with the learning and teaching team. And so I said it then, but I'll say it again for anyone that didn't hear me that night. That is a chance for students to kind of demonstrate their knowledge in a different way. So through art, through building, through dramatic play. And so they're able to show us what they know while we are able to honor their own kind of personal learning style, which is really nice. Those have been really fun. And we're working with the learning and teaching team on how we want to scale those up next year. If we want to do those in every ARC unit, for certain ARC units, and at which grade level. And then Tricia just really cued me up really nice. We had heard feedback from the CPAC, and we collaborate with the CPAC often. And so we were able to provide some really specific guidance to schools this year around field day. And so not only break tents, although that is one thing that we did talk with them about, but also social stories to preview the event. So not only is the day different, the schedule is different, but what events are we going to do there? And so using social stories at all of our schools so that kids know what's coming on that day is also a way that we can help regulate students prior to needing a break tent. And so that is one piece that we've been working on, as well as balancing kind of like the energy level of all of the different events so that we kind of take into consideration what everyone needs. And then last year and also this year, we've done a tremendous amount of work on our rise to our preschool to kindergarten transition process. And so one of the things universally that we put in place were welcome to kindergarten social stories for all of our 5 elementary schools that have pictures of classrooms, specials rooms, important faces of staff in the building so that students and their families can look at those, especially first-time families coming in, and kind of know the lay of the land before they walk in. So those are really small, and they might seem small, but they really make a big difference for students and families that need them. So, yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Emma Costigan. I am a district inclusion specialist, and I will be bringing us into our second area, which relates to social emotional learning and student behavior. Here I really want to make sure that we highlight our work at the Tier 1 level. As we know, student needs are evolving, and so we are really working to provide instruction that's relevant and targeted to meet those needs. What this looks like in practice is we've reestablished an SEL block at all 5 of the elementary schools, during which students are engaging in lessons that are created by a multidisciplinary team that has representation from all 5 elementary schools and a variety of roles within those schools. This work is really grounded in the CASEL social emotional learning standards and is also responsive to what teachers are saying that they need in their classrooms right now. It's really the intersection of the SEL work, the executive functioning work that you've heard about, and the understanding each other work that you just heard about. And an additional component is that we added a play block where students are able to take what they learned during the lessons and apply it in sort of naturalistic real-life situations. At the middle school level, SEL time usually happens during advisory, and in response to student needs, we have piloted some of these lessons in Coolidge's 6th and 7th grade advisory blocks, and these lessons are mainly geared towards the attention and executive functioning work.
So at the staff level, as we kind of work to support our staff as they support students with social emotional needs, we've really been trying to focus on building more consistency. So we know that students do best if we have common language, consistent expectations, and systems in place for them to know what to expect. And so along with the student level work, teachers get a monthly overview that explains not just the topic and the standards and the lesson, but also has teaching scripts for teachers, right? A lot of teachers come out of college, this is like my spiel, sorry, that they come out with like reading, writing, math. Like this is kind of a newer domain, and so those scripts I think have been really helpful for teachers. We also provide like coaching scripts they can use for the students. So in the moment, we're not solving problems for students, but like coaching students how to get back to the skill area, which I know staff have found really helpful. And then outside of kind of giving them that tool in their hand, we've done a lot of targeted professional development in this area as we see the needs of students evolve. And so we have done PD that we have created and run ourselves, and I think there's something really nice about being able to field a question and make something with a pretty quick turnaround that answers that question exactly. So this is a different example, but CPAC asked, whose job is this? We made the presentation, it was very specific, so there are trainings we've run that are specific to what teachers are seeing right now in their classroom. And then we've also partnered with external PD providers too. So Tricia mentioned Lynn Lyons that came to talk for families. Lynn Lyons has also come 4 times this school year to meet with our district support team, which is all of our mental health clinicians, our nurses, our inclusion team, Kelly, to really do more like personalized reading work. So instead of just like her giving her regular talk, we're able to submit questions and she's able to tailor it to what we need. And then I also just received a grant from REF to have Lynn Lyons come back next year and have a wider audience. So Elise Wolf, when she was here recently, asked the question, like, in school, who does mental health belong to? And that's starting to get blurry because it needs to now belong to all of us. We know that like 1 time a week in a counselor's office might not be enough. And so we're gonna have Lynn Lyons back to do a wider audience so that everyone can have the understanding of her methodology so that our counselors will have an easier time generalizing those skills. And then one of our really important focuses has really been building our tier 2 and 3 interventions so that as students need those interventions, we have them readily available and that teachers are clear on like the pathway to access those. And then at the community level, we've really worked to kind of think about how we can take this beyond just our schools. Again, similar themes that you've heard already, but we know that students do best when we're all working together. So we've really focused on hosting events that bring together families, caregivers, community partners, sometimes students themselves come to really engage in that like two-way dialogue. So it's not just us giving information, but we're also getting information back from families about what's helpful or not helpful. So we had our first family SEL night at the elementary level this year. We had over 100 families come. I ran Anxious Generation book clubs for families after I ran the staff ones. I ran 3 of them in March, which was really insightful. And then Kelly and I just kicked off a brand new series called Rooted in the Village. And so we might hit you up for your videos about the village. And so really that was in response to families needing support if they're navigating challenging behavior at home and in the community. How can we better support them with that? So we just had our first session. Kelly, at the end of it, said she loved it so much she could do it every night. And I said, I don't know if I could do every night, but I can do once a month. And so we're also trying to give families a monthly update on the SEL skills we're teaching in school. So just like the teachers get the monthly overview, families get a monthly overview so they know what skills we're teaching. And there's also a bringing it home section. So it's like conversation starters, games they can play, things they can do to try to practice those skills. And then lastly, our Let Grow Challenge, which you heard about a little bit, kicks off very soon. Saturday is the police station open house, and they're going to have our Let Grow table, so that will be the first time it's really put out there publicly. I just was talking with all of them yesterday, so we're ready to roll on that. I also don't think I introduced myself. I'm Jackie Pelusi. Sorry.
All right, so one of the places that we really see the impact of this SEL work is in teacher-reported data. At the midpoint of this year, we surveyed staff around how they felt about the SEL work as we're rolling it out, and 90% of staff reported not only feeling confident teaching the lessons as they were provided, but also using the language and the strategies from those lessons to continue to coach their classrooms throughout other times of the day. We also asked how staff felt their students were benefiting, and 85% of respondents said that they felt their students were benefiting from this work. When we think about the MTSS triangle and thinking about how we hope 80% of our students are benefiting from that Tier 1 instruction, that 85% feels really optimistic and excites us about moving forward with this work.
So as you can see from this amazing articulate team, we really believe strongly that strong systems require strong leaders. And we have been prioritizing our leadership development to really align and have continuous learning to ensure our practices evolve right along the needs of our students and our families and our staff. And so by investing in the growth of our leaders, we are really trying to build the internal capacity needed to sustain those inclusive, proactive, and responsive systems. And what you see here is just a subset of our flow chart. This is just special education. And we put it in here to highlight that our district-wide roles really partner with the schools, the team chairs, the learning and teaching staff, right down to every single teacher and paraeducator who needs support to make sure our students and families have what they need. And I'd just like to thank the school committee again for helping us to promote and fund these positions, because it is making an impact every single day. And we really want to never forget that our work is beyond compliance and that we are getting the work we're doing to our students and families. So on this next slide, you will see something that actually came from a book study we did with the school committee several years ago, From Good to Great by Jim Collins, the idea of a hedgehog concept where you are focused on certain things. Our department has really embraced it. There are a lot of hedgehogs everywhere, but I love a good visual that reminds everybody why we're doing this work, that we have passion for all of our students and believe they all are going to learn. The economic driver for us obviously is compliance, but what we really believe is we want to get to be the best in the world at our relationships with families. And so that requires the alignment and the reflection and taking data and being as consistent as we possibly can so that we are relationship focused and committed to that continuous growth. So we've been working on operationalizing our culture, which is the next slide, because we need to do things that are rooted, just like we use with our students. We want to use best practices with our staff to build their capacity. And so we've really honed in on a lot of these systems, especially some work by Brene Brown, and really thinking about how are we developing ourselves to have good relationships with families, even when it gets hard, because all we all care about is doing what is best for our students, and we need to know that we need to look at the facts and know sometimes they're difficult, but we're gonna get there. And how do we continue to build our relationship skills to do this human-centered work? I did want to highlight, I'm going to call myself out. I love the analogy of pocket presence and knowing that Tom Brady is one of the best people at moving the ball down the field while everything's coming at him and having to know what's coming, where are his defenders, all of that. We use that analogy. I then showed a video of Tom Brady not in a Patriots uniform, which was very bad. I thought it was a special outfit from the Patriots. Clearly, I don't actually know any sports. My team thinks it's hysterical, but Tom Brady and hedgehogs find their way into lots of PowerPoints now.
Jen, I think the giveaway is that you just called it an outfit.
Trust me, it took me forever to understand when Tom said we were huddling. I was like, we're what? I'm not good at sports analogies. And so really, truly, we are so thankful to the CPAC, to all the parents that come to our office hours, to the parents that have come to our listening sessions, because you're telling us how to improve. We want to hear it so we can work with you to make things better for your own children and for all the children. And one of the things that we've heard is that we are not always consistent in our practices across schools. So we're actually down to the point now that we are role playing. How do you introduce a team meeting? How do you talk about this piece of the IEP? And holding each other accountable to common language. And I thought it was very interesting that our staff actually said to us, people who have been in other districts who've come to us said, we've never done this before. And so knowing that that was a real need to spend some time on that, that just lets us be reflective and data-driven and keeping the students at the center. Just looking ahead on the last slide, we know that our work is never finished. Students, families, schools, they're going to continue to grow and change, and we want to be there and grow and change. I did just wanted to highlight a couple of things. We are in the middle of our multi-year programmatic review with learning and teaching about our reading practices, so you'll see more about that. As we talked about the executive functioning, we are working with the building leaders to really have consistent practices in all classrooms, so that we know all students are getting access to those good teaching practices that they need. And then finally, Jackie talked a little bit about that Let's Grow project, which is super exciting. And I just wanted to acknowledge the last time I was here, Tom Wise said, why don't we have yard signs? And we are working really hard to get yard signs. The Reading Rotary has been a fantastic partner in that. So coming soon, we may be hitting people up to put out yard signs for Let's Grow. So that is a summary of some of the exciting work we are doing, and we are happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Sean, you want to start, or?
Nothing on my end tonight.
Jeff?
I just had a really weird question. It jumped out at me that somewhere in the middle, there was a slide about the wolf pack mentality in Abi Wambach. And tell me a little more about that.
Here's my team
Okay.
with Allison and Renee. They're missing. These are the wolf pack. There's also stickers for that. I learned how to use Sticker Mule. They have stickers for everything. Abi Wambach is a famous soccer player, which I know.
Okay.
Yay me. And she wrote a book called The Wolf Pack, and in it she talks about you can't be the lone wolf. You need to be, I was actually looking to see if any of you had your computers, because I know your stickers are on there, that you are part of the wolf pack that drives the work forward. It actually came from a graduation speech she gave. It's a great, very quick read. But she talks about the need for team building and having each other's backs and building the capacity. And also, especially for people who are coaching and in classrooms and knowing how to point and run, meaning I might have scored the goal, but I better turn around and point to every single person that helped me and run towards them. And so they're really working on developing their skills to say to the teachers, you're doing this. I may be here, but I don't have all the answers. I'm going to help you get there. The other thing that Abby did was she had a commercial at the end of her career, and it was, "Forget my name." And essentially, it was a shout out to all the up and coming soccer players and kids that were playing soccer. Don't look at me as the best, as the Olympic athlete. You all learn to do it yourselves. And so I challenge them all the time. Your job is not that people yell out, "These guys are amazing." They are amazing. But I want them to say, "We know how to support all students and families." That's the goal. And that's some of the work we've been doing. Did I capture it, Wolfpack? And I know also, did I learn about uniforms versus outfits? I can now create chat in, no, I can't even say it, on our telephones when we want to send a text message. It's called Wolfpack. So with a picture, I've learned from my team how to do such things.
You're dating yourself so much.
It's so bad. I know. I'm old. I got it.
Anybody else? I'm going back here because there's the lawn sign right there.
That is the lawn sign.
Yeah.
That is it.
I knew it
And
as soon
there's
as
a
I saw it,
QR
like-
code, hopefully, that will take them right to the website to get more information.
Awesome. I was thinking as well as I was going through, as you guys were going through this, in particular, kind of the social emotional side of the work you're doing, how, I don't know what the right word is, or right word, so let me kind of get this out a little bit, but how important this is now, or has it been since COVID? I knew it was always important before COVID, but you all know more than any of us how much of a challenge the coming back to the classroom has been for many of our students. And bringing this at the right level for them from a student perspective as well. And looking at the graphics, it's like, okay, I can see this is for a young child and I appreciate that, right? That it is hitting at the level that is necessary for there. And then tying it to play, as you were talking about too. So, okay, you've gone through the class, the talking part, but I'm a kid, I want to get up and play. So how do I then, make it real for them? I think was something I called out as really important. And then the family side of it as well, the bringing it home portion is something we probably need to continue to do more, even outside of the SEL space, right? And how can you, and this ironically is one of the reasons Tom was hired way back in the day, is the bringing the stuff home, and what are the activities you can do at the table, playing with dice or something, little things like that to bring the math thing home. So, tying it all the way back from 6 years ago as we were looking at Tom during his interview process and some of the stuff that you were doing, and it's just you, and I'm just saying that now, but it's not just one person, all of you are working through that, but I think that school to home connection just makes it that much stronger, and provides a bridge for the parents. So it's, historically, especially in special education, and I'm looking at my parents out there, it's been, you parents aren't doing enough. Like, it's the parents' fault at times, which is crazy considering where special education parents have to deal with a lot. And this is not special education necessarily in this particular case, but tying it back to provide the resources so that the parents now have more they can work with, I think is phenomenal. And all the other reach outs that are going on. I think you are setting a bar that is really high, and you have to keep jumping over the bar to make it even higher. So I just want to recognize that and appreciate that. I don't even think I did it justice in just that little statement. So thank you for the work that you're doing and the association of bringing it home.
Thank you.
Tom?
Yep. Just want to thank this team for your incredible work and impact in our community. And a couple of things that maybe just aren't apparent, like are obvious in the committee members too, is that all 4 educators up here were Reading Public School educators prior to stepping into their current leadership roles, which I think maybe 2 points that are really important for one. One is who are deeply respected in the staff who really trust them, right? Which I think has allowed them to come in and obviously make an impact right away. Deeply trust them because of they've done this work really well, whether a school psychologist, special educator, like they've been in these roles and moved the needle. And I think they have the respect and the trust of staff, which really uniquely positions them to make the kind of impact that we're talking about. So just like people to know, these are, folks who are just some of the most well-respected leaders in our community. 2, you saw a lot about the proactive work tonight that the team is doing, which is incredible. You also didn't get to hear a lot about just the day-to-day, like situations. They are in some of the highest, most intense, most complicated, most challenging situations that are really layered and nuanced with not easy answers, and they help navigate and lead to that complexity incredibly well. And then the last thing is it really struck me seeing this tonight, just your lead, how maybe it connects to Tom's point of your leadership impact on students, staff, and families is just a really unique way to help schools and help our community navigate all that we're seeing sort of needs in our community. And I think this resonates with me as a parent in trying to figure out how am I best supporting my children. It resonates with me as an educator. So I just think there's just appreciate just how your role impacts so many different constituencies, which I think is truly needed to be able to get the type of impact that we, the way that we want to impact our students. So I think we see your impact tonight, and I'd just like to just double down and emphasize that. I think the community tonight is seeing a fraction of just in the day-to-day of what you're doing. In the point of, I think a lot of districts are struggling with a lot of the things that we have talked about tonight too, and just really encouraged by the work that you're doing, our teams are doing to try to be as effective as we can to meet student needs. So just a huge thank you to you, and just to acknowledge and say you're making a huge impact. So thank you.
Thank you.
Here's one more thing.
Is there a spelling mistake?
No.
Oh.
No. Front and center, the title of the thing is Excellence for All.
We believe that.
I think that is also a core fundamental shift from where this district was 6 years ago, right? And I want to call that out as well, right? We've made a ton of progress. We still have a lot to go, as you've mentioned. Yep. But the fact that we're even calling it out as excellence for all is something I just want to continue to spotlight and highlight.
Thank you. We really appreciate everybody's support, and I echo what Tom said. This amazing team that's making a difference, and we continue to just value all of our partnerships. So thank everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Thank you all very much. All right, let's move to the next item on our agenda. Let me move relatively quickly through these last 3. The next one is discussing the superintendent formative review process. Obviously with Dr. Milichewski being a bit of a short timer at this point, we feel perfunctory, but beyond it being sort of a statutory and contractual obligation, I think it's probably helpful just for us to reflect on where we are, what priorities lay ahead, that kind of thing, just as part of setting the stage for Dr. Turner's entry as well. This is a formative review year, so it's not the big one with all the focus indicators and the sort of full form to fill out. So what I would propose to the committee is to ask each member to provide, and Dr. Corm, it's up to you, your level of comfort with doing this, but, to provide just sort of a brief narrative review of, for Dr. Milczewski for the last, this past year. A couple paragraphs, it could be a little bit longer if you want to. My suggestion would be we do this on a fairly quick turnaround, and the reason for that is that unless something else comes up, I think our meeting a week from today may be our last meeting of the school year. We may need to have a short virtual one later in June if anything pops up that requires a late approval or anything like that. But given that we may be not meeting again after next Thursday, what I'd like to ask is if everyone could just provide that sort of brief narrative, by maybe Tuesday evening, which will give me a day to turn it around, create aggregate, kind of an aggregate narrative for us to review and approve as part of our meeting next week. So we pause there and get the committee's feedback and reactions to that, and see how we want to move forward.
You'd like us to send those directly to you?
Yeah. Yep.
And you said by this coming Tuesday?
Yeah, that would be, just give me a day to turn it around for everyone else.
Sean, why do you think we need to do it? I mean, contractually, if Tom waives it, why do we need to do it?
I'd have to double check this, but I think the statutory language requires us to annually review the superintendent. And it can be, part of a 2-year cycle and all that, which is why we can do a formative and not a summative. But my recollection is there's a, sort of statutory obligation as well.
Yeah, I was trying to find it earlier today, and I couldn't find it, but I didn't have a full day to search, or full time to search, so I apologize. It's not a hard deal to write a short formative necessarily. It does seem perfunctory to your point, right? So that was, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I can look for the language that I'm, sort of remembering, Tom, and let me make Erin a co-host so she can come off mute and participate. I can look for that language. I mean, one decision we could make tonight, is if there isn't an obligation and Dr. Milczewski's, willing to waive it from a contractual perspective. I see him raising his hand. He's comfortable with that. We could forego this entirely. So, if that's kind of the will of the committee, what I'd say is, I'll put out that sort of penciled in timeline for Tuesday, and I can follow up with everyone tomorrow with a confirmation, as to whether or not it's necessary.
I think that would be my vote, to pencil it, confirm whether or not we need to actually do it.
Sure.
And kind of go from there, just given lots of other competing priorities on calendars right now.
Understood. Is everyone comfortable with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, Tom, I don't think we need to sign a MOU or anything like that.
No, I'll make it public, I waive. Sean, the only thing that I think would be challenging if the language requires something, as I do typically, the process would be me to provide evidence, and then the committee review evidence. I would have to turn that evidence around pretty quickly, so.
Not very useful.
Yeah, so I just think there's that piece to it, so.
To the degree that there's a statutory obligation, it provides discretion for how we do it. Those rules and sort of guidelines are all based on the framework from DESE, which are guidelines and frameworks, not requirements. So I think we'd be okay as far as that goes. But let me just get back to everyone tomorrow with a confirmation one way or the other. Tom, you may be right. My recollection was there was something there, but I'll double check and maybe think Colby and see if we have an out. Okay, so that sounds like the plan going forward. And then, so the next item of business is reviewing and approving membership for the Facility Naming Advisory Committee. So, let me just sort of update everyone on the status on this, and we can, we've gotten the option to take a vote tonight. We also could table that till next week, and I'll tell you why that might be the case here in a minute. So there are 6 roles sort of designated in our policy on that committee. So one is a school committee member. We're going to designate Jeffrey to be our designee for that position. The principal of the building in question, which is obviously Principal Callahan, a select board member, the select board appointed Chris Haley to that role earlier this week. A student of the facility in question, they've identified Sophie Carlskin, so we've got a student identified there, and then a member of the Historical Commission and a business leader. The Historical Commission does not meet very frequently, it turns out, and their next meeting is on June 3rd. So they will appoint somebody next week, so we don't currently have a name. And then the business leader, I've been trying to run folks down for a couple weeks here and just frankly have been striking out. We've got a couple options there. I can, certainly keep cold, I've kind of run out of people that I know at this point, but I can kind of cold email some folks and, we can keep looking. We also could have Chris serve, sort of dual capacity. He both is a local business owner. Go ahead, Tom.
What I've done in the past, Sean, is actually, because it's an official ad hoc committee, Laura posts it. And then when Laura posts it as an opening for that committee, we can post it on our website, on our Facebook page, or that's when as well, usually the nominating group will have somebody who's business related in town that they can say, hey, why don't you apply for this? And then you as the chair can talk to the 2 or 3 people and choose the one that you think is most appropriate. As opposed to trying to find your own business people, it officially gets posted by Laura Gem as an opening on a committee that you are the person with our de facto approval of, that puts the person on the committee.
Okay, so that's an option as well. That's helpful. I don't recall, I haven't experienced that in the past, but that's helpful. So in practice, we're not going to have the Historical Commission member identified until the night before our next meeting. My suggestion at this point would be we table a vote on finalizing this committee membership, because we won't be able to start, Jeffrey won't be able to start working with folks, Jeffrey and Olivia won't be able to start working with folks on scheduling anyway, so, unless folks feel otherwise. The alternative would be we move forward with a vote that has a couple of sort of contingencies built into it in terms of the appointments. So I'm open to either approach, but would suggest tabling for now.
I would agree with tabling, and also that we technically have to provide a charge for that committee too, so we should approve the charge too.
We do, yep, okay. All right, so I'll make a motion to table this agenda item until our June 4th meeting.
Second.
Seconded by Tom. Any discussion on that?
I will just note that,
Sorry?
I just wanted to note that I will actually not be here in person next week. I'll be traveling to Virginia. I may be able to join by Zoom, but, you can vote me in to be.
We can appoint you in your absence. One of our favorite things to do is when they're not here to protest. So, no, thanks for the heads up. All right, so we'll go to the vote. Erin?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Sorry, Sarah, I didn't catch that.
Yes.
I assumed it was a yes, but I couldn't catch it. Jeffrey?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
And Sean, yes, thank you. Everyone will table that one. Okay, and then finally, school choice update, or for open session anyway, school choice update and next steps. Dr. Milichewski, I'll kick it to you for this one.
So as the committee knows that for districts that do not opt out of school choice, you're required to have 2 lotteries. We went through the process of hosting the first lottery just a couple of weeks ago. We are required to have that second lottery prior to the end of October. We have found that doing that second lottery before the end of the school year actually gives us sort of more knowns going into the school year, and also allows us to not have to have students transition in mid-year. So I think that obviously having that second lottery makes more sense now. A little bit of an update, we are now up to 110 total students for school choice for next year. This includes 33 students who accepted seats as a result through the first lottery. There were 5 students who declined seats that were offered seats. So 33. In their packet, you'll see that we are recommending to move forward with 17 additional seats or potential seats based on the lottery to potentially bring us up to 127 students. We don't think that we'll fill all 17. I mean, some of those are spaces that we didn't get any applications for in the first round of lottery. We think we'll fill a few of them, which will bring us close around the target of what we had in the budget of 121 So we think that that will bring us right to where we would, hope to be. So open any questions, concerns, or feedback with just what we recommend to seats, but we feel very comfortable that these are seats that were not only open in the first lottery, but these are seats that we will, can guarantee that we'll have space come the fall. So I think it's smart for us to get ahead of that now.
Point of clarification, Tom?
Yes.
You said 17 available seats, but I see we had 33 we filled and we have 47 available. So isn't that 14 available seats?
So that we had to pull a couple of back that we had initially in the first lottery that we didn't fill, if that makes sense.
Right, but you still said it, so 4 that were, or 5 or something like that, that there were, right, you had 38 available.
38 we had 38 accepted.
38 accepted,
Yeah.
right? So, but 33 of those actually totally accepted.
Correct.
But you now are saying, through the first lottery, you've identified 47 available seats. So we have 47 available seats, we've had 33 of those filled. Isn't that 14 that's?
Someone else had pointed out, Jay, that 47 shouldn't be there then.
So it's 50 available seats?
Correct, correct,
Okay,
correct. Good catch. I apologize for that error.
so a total of 50 is what we're willing to open up for next year?
Correct, correct.
So I'm going to ask the hard question. I know we want and the revenue helps us. Are we confident that we can actually absorb an additional, I know space is one thing, I'm just talking about everything besides space, right? Space is just one portion of it. Whether we want to call it teaching capacity, support capacity, other related things that go with this, that, is this the right number that we're 100% confident that the district overall, top to bottom, inclusive of administrative staff, can support additional students coming in like this?
Yes. I think go ahead, Sean. Or is it, I thought someone said. When we go through, I think it is a space thing, right? When you go through and look at class size and spots that we're able to plug students in, we feel confident that those are spots that we can absorb that and keep class sizes within what are our expected class size limits. We're talking here potentially 17 more students, but again, expect that number's closer to 10, given where we've seen interest in the district. So given that we're already at 110, we don't think the additional 10 is going to significantly move the needle in admin ratios and, other support things and as well. Of course, I think you're asking a fair question, and I totally appreciate that. I think given the additional revenue that it brings in for the district, given the available space, given that the 100% reimbursement for any special education service, we feel that, again, moving forward is the best move for the district.
Any other questions? There's no explicit action required this evening on this one.
Nope.
Okay. All right, so that brings us to the end of our open session agenda. So I will move that we enter into executive session to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining with all of our unions. Where an open meeting will have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the Reading School Committee, and I will state as such as the chair. So we will not return to open session. We'll adjourn after executive session. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Tom. Aaron?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Jeffrey?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
And Sean, yes. Just everyone over there a minute.